Hello everyone, I'm Lee. Thanks for watching me. I really appreciate it. I thought it would be fun to talk about what might be confusing for some people's brains, going down or up, going into trance or coming out of trance. Fractionation, by its very nature, sometimes confuses people a lot, as can dropping very deeply into trance and then being brought up suddenly. Those things can be kind of confusing. Maybe it's confusing to look at something shiny and to wonder why, possibly why is it distracting you, right? Because we don't always understand or know exactly why something is doing a thing. We can't always tell what is distracting us and why. Is something confusing you? If I'm asking you to pay attention to me and yet there's something shiny going on in a different part of the screen, does your brain actually know where to focus? And what if I told you to find yourself remembering to stay wide awake while showing you something shiny that in the past I've directed you to stare at and to find nearly irresistible, or maybe that's just the sound of my voice, I don't know, and to realize that when you find yourself being told to stay wide awake and you're looking at something that's shiny and you're listening to the sound of my voice, it might be very difficult for you to find yourself actually staying wide awake, right? But your brain wants to obey so strongly, right? Your unconscious mind really wants to obey because that's one thing that it's being trained or has been trained to do so that you can receive the benefits of hypnosis, so that you can know that every single time you find yourself in that state of trance, that you respond better and better each time, so that you find that you get all the wonderful goodness of trance going straight into your unconscious mind, your unconscious mind absorbing it, that just feeling so very good and so very right that it's hard, challenging to look away. So where are you looking right now and what are you doing right now? Are you staying wide awake? Is your unconscious mind in that place where it's telling you, oh no, I got to stay awake? And are you doing a very good job at staying awake? Because some people know that they can do a very good job at staying awake, and when they find themselves doing a very good job at staying awake, I wonder if that means that all the hypnosis language, all that hypnotic language that is being directed at you, does that mean that your brain just knows that it feels so much better for you to find yourself giving in? Does your brain just know that it feels so much better for you to accept and acknowledge that you want to look at the thing and you're just going to take every little bit? Like sometimes I tell you to count all the different facets, right? This thing, I can't get close enough, but it actually is faceted. It's like a half of a disco ball. It's actually a Lego. Imagine that. Anyway, so your brain can know that you find yourself taking in things like all those previously given directions for how to go into trance by listening to the sound of my voice, by staring at something shiny, by counting all the facets, but you're also staying awake. So when I tell you to do that, your unconscious mind is just like putting drops in a bucket. That's how I always envision it, as though you're putting little drips and drops of definitely going deeply into trance into a bucket, but the bucket is next to you. It's not been poured over you. It's not inside you. It's not like a glass of hypnosis that you find yourself drinking or anything like that. It's just you simply finding that you are not yet responding to all the things, even though you might want to, even though a part of you is like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. I feel like I'm in the desert and I really just want to drink a nice cold glass of hypnosis. But instead, here I am telling you to stay wide awake, and I'm telling you to stay wide awake and talking about fractionation. And you probably already know how good you can be at fractionation, how easy it is for you to come up and then drop down deeper, to come up and then drop down deeper, but not yet, right? Because I didn't tell you to go into trance yet. So your unconscious mind just has this delightful, delightful two-part thing that it's working on right now. It's working on making sure that you are wide awake. You are wide awake, aren't you? And then it's making sure that all the hypnotic language that you're hearing is being put somewhere so that when I tell you to use it, you find yourself taking it all in. Now, what would happen if I just said, okay, you can have a little sip of that? However much is there, you can have just a little sip. Would you drop down in trance and then would you come all the way back up right now? Would that just serve to fractionate you more? What if you found yourself in that place where your unconscious mind is just like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty, I can't stand it. And you mean to take just a little sip, but you like down the whole glass. Maybe you've done that. Maybe there's something like, I don't know. For me, maybe a little bit, it's like those bottles of original Coke in like 6-ounce bottles. And it's so cold. It's literally like the commercials, and you feel yourself going, I just want some of that. You know how good it's going to be. So hypnosis could be kind of like that, right? And then the moment that the pop, you hear that top come off, that release, and the carbonation starts to fizz out the top, and you see all the little bubbles, and your brain just can't resist. So maybe that's like this. Maybe you just find that you can't resist right now. But I'd like you to know that on the count of 3, you can find yourself dropping deeply into trance. And when you find yourself dropping deeply into trance, your unconscious mind can just feel how incredibly good and refreshing that is. Your unconscious mind can just appreciate and understand how amazing that is to drop deeply into trance while you listen to the sound of my voice, while you find yourself giving in as powerfully as you possibly can, and to notice how very good it feels. So hold on. Don't do it yet. Because what's the point of going deeply into trance if there are no suggestions that I'm going to give you? So I'm going to give you those suggestions now. And the suggestions are that for the rest of today, you can discover that today is amazing. That there's some part of your unconscious mind that just knows that when I tell you to put everything in that flow state, your brain just starts to organize things for you, right? It organizes things for you. It puts aside the things that you do not need to worry about right now or today, and it just organizes everything else in the most effective and efficient manner so that your day today is absolutely seamless, feels absolutely wonderful. It's the sort of thing that you find that you just are so happy to have had a day like today. Okay, ready, unconscious? Ready, conscious? Find yourself dropping deeply into trance on 1, 2, 3. And then more and more, let your unconscious mind just drop you deeper. Let your unconscious mind just take that over, those sensations, those feelings, about how deeply down into trance you can go. And of course, the more deeply down into trance you go, the more powerful all these sensations can feel. And as these sensations feel more and more powerful and more amazing, your unconscious mind just wants more of it, right? So hold on to those thoughts and those feelings. Let your unconscious mind just go, oh my God, yes, we're going to have the best day ever. You're going to let everything that you wanted to do or needed to do just happen automatically, effortlessly, flowing through everything else that you had to do. You don't get bothered, you don't get sidetracked, you do what you have to do in the order that you have to do it, and everything feels so very good. And as soon as your unconscious mind has said, yes, we need that what a great day it'll be, we will feel so good at the end of this day, as soon as your unconscious mind says yes to that, you'll notice you can find yourself waking up. And no matter what happens, you can find yourself waking up in the next 2 minutes, feeling amazing. So hold on to those thoughts, hold on to how good it can feel. Let your unconscious mind just revel in how good it can be at being responsive to hypnosis, at being responsive to suggestions which are good for you, at responding when it's safe and appropriate to do so and not when it isn't, and hold on to how very wonderful it feels for you to give in to the shiny. I'm not going to show it to you, but you know it's in my hand, right? To give in to the shiny, to give in to the sound of my voice, to give in to trance itself, and to just feel how amazing it is when you do those things. Bye.